Welcome back to another episode of NFL News on the Boom Bust channel. I'm your host Terry, and today let's talk about this Bill Belichick, Robert Kraft Hall of Fame thing. This has really exposed, actually, a lot going on in the world. Has exposed just how little people understand. It's kind of crazy to me that you got people on national TV, some trained journalists, some former athletes, but still, you're on national TV and you can't read. Like, I don't understand why this was so hard for the whole sports community to wrap their head around. Because Bill Belichick didn't get in, and it turned into Spygate. Now, you had an anonymous source say that played into it, so people, were given a reason to think that. But still, it turned into they hating on Belichick. They snub. Now, this would be an actual snub if you're talking about people who got together to intentionally keep him out. Because I got on people about that with the Oscars. Just because you don't get in don't mean it's a snub. A snub is intentional. This would have been intentional. But either way, so people were like, this was a snub. People, they hating on him, all these different things. His resume, blah, blah, blah. From the very beginning, the reports told you that due to the new voting system, it is very likely that a lot of voters, or at least enough, were like, hey, Belichick's getting in, so I'm going to use my vote on this other person. And not saying the system is right or perfect, but when you have a system like that, it's very clear that that's possible that could happen. But no, everybody went with all the other narratives. And then as we keep going down the line, then somehow people were like, well, maybe, well, actually, no, they didn't change their mind until the voter came out, said, I didn't vote for Bill Belichick. And he said exactly that these three dudes were not going to have another chance to get on this ballot. They deserve to be Hall of Famers. Bill's going to get in, so I'm voting for them. Now, people need to understand a couple things. Number one, the rules changed where coaches could get in after a year. So it used to be 5. So the fact people going up in arms about this, I kind of roll my eyes at all of it, but especially for the fact that Bill Belichick really should have been waiting some more time before he could even be considered, whatever. They changed that. The second thing is they put the coaches in with the contributors and with the basically legacy players. And again, so now you're pitting guys up like a Belichick who very much deserves to, go straight in. However, you're pitting him up against guys who have been waiting, and as the writer said, might be his only chance to get, or last chance to get in. And so that's already a problem. The biggest part that also contributes to this is that they were to pick 3 people. It wasn't, hey, does this guy deserve to get in? Yes, yes, no, yes. That's not the system anymore. The system is pick 3 of the 5. And that's what happened. You got people that's like, Belichick will get votes from other people. I'm giving my votes here. Or, Belichick's going to get in eventually. I'm voting for these guys because this is their last opportunity. Stuff like that. And then, the whole age thing as far as like trying to get guys in before they die, or potentially die, or, not have their mental faculties. That's a conversation that also comes into play. And again, not saying that it's right or that the system is perfect. I'm saying those are symptoms of the system. That's not a symptom of, hey, collusion, let's keep Belichick out, or we don't think Belichick. Like all these people, so how many rings does he need? That's not what this is. So again, you got people just being loud and wrong on the internet. You need to actually read what they said, and then you would know. A vote for somebody isn't always a vote against somebody else. Again, in the old system, then we had this conversation. But in this system, it wasn't, hey, do you think Belichick's Hall of Fame? It's like, which of these three are you gonna vote for? And this what happens in the Oscars, and that's why I compared it. I was like, because now the difference is the Oscars are independent. It's 11,000 people. They vote on their own time. These people are voting in a meeting. Now, it is much more likely to have collusion and arm twisting and politicking when you do it that way. Even if the vote is blind, you still doing it in a meeting. They should do this at home. They should be doing this at home on their phone, away from other people. Now, of course, like the Oscars, you still got people calling people, doing the same stuff, but there shouldn't be that extra layer of influence. But either way, you're going to have situations like that when you have this type of system. So the reason everybody's like, this system is dumb. Why'd you do it? Your boy Prime Time and all those people saying that the hall needs to be more selective, which I agree with. This was one of those moves. It's harder to get in when they're only picking 3 instead of giving you a yes no vote on everybody. And what was the intended consequence, that a guy like Belichick would be left out? No, but that's a result of them trying to make it more selective. And I saw somebody on one of the comments I made, and they said, we want more selective, not more dumb. I'm like, you're making 2 different comments. There's the comments about the voting system and the structure, and there's a comment about the voters. The voters are human beings. That's not going to change. If you have a system with no criteria, this is no criteria. And really, if it was a criteria, you could have a computer do it. There's no criteria to the Hall of Fame. And so you have human beings making subjective decisions and playing all the factors into different decisions. And this is what you'll always get. And so this is a result of what people wanted. Not saying it's the right move, but it's like you asked for change, you got change, and now here we are. Now, of course, there was still these people, you're trying to punish Belichick, you're trying to punish, and then it turned into Bill Polian was trying to get Kraft in. Then, boom, what did we hear? Robert Kraft didn't get in either. So I love watching in real time, and we had a lot of this year. I love watching in real time stupid narratives and takes being completely dismissed. I love it, because then you have now it's a bunch of backpedaling. Well, in that case, it must be nah, bro. How about you just like go with the simple, logical answers instead of all this other stuff? There's only a handful of people, including Mina Kimes, who probably is my number one in sports media now. Only a handful of them that really looked at it for what it was and discussed the actual issues of it. So then going forward, what is the solution? I don't know. I've been thinking it's been a fun exercise. I haven't came up with one. But there's been a number of suggestions. But for me, I do think too many people get in. I tend to agree with Greenberg. Like, there shouldn't be a minimum maximum every year. Like, whatever system you have, it should be to a point where you can say, hey, this year nobody's getting in. Like, it should not be a quota. And even though I disagree with most of what Dion said, I do kind of feel like you're either a Hall of Famer or you're not. Like, I don't like this idea of you're not a Hall of Famer this year, but you're a Hall of Famer in a different class. I don't like that. Now, how do you do that in an equitable way, especially if you change gears to something like that now, you're going to have a huge backlog of people. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but I personally just feel like all this contributor category and special senior and special legacy and this and that, I don't like that. One coach a year, and I don't like all that. I just really feel like you a Hall of Famer or you not. And then who gets to vote on that? That's another question. And it is tough. I'm not saying there's an easy, perfect answer, but just philosophically, I feel pretty strongly that, like, yes, you're a Hall of Famer or you're not. And finding a system that kind of shows that. Like, I mean, I guess the idea of voting like they used to, like yes, no, is cool. Just take away the quotas. Like, to me, you would have to only review a certain number of people each year, because you're not going to review everybody and have a 50-person Hall of Fame class. And like, ideally, it would be in chronological order. Like I said, the problem is you did it a different way, so now you got a backlog of people. So in that case, I guess I'm gonna contradict myself. I do understand the legacy cases or whatever, but and I do I now I'm kind of walking back because I do understand. Okay, we're only looking at X amount of legacy players this year. And so I don't know. I don't know what the right number is. I don't know what the right ratio is. But I do feel like it's, hey, we're looking at you. You're a Hall of Famer. You don't get in, then you're not getting in. And maybe it needs to be a two round voting system. So that way you can streamline it a little bit more. Because if you drop off round one, you're done, and then you get to round two, and then you got to get approved. So I don't know, man. I don't know, but that's kind of my ideas. But everybody is just running with all these stories. I mean, not now. I'm a little late, but they're running with all these stories and hot takes and narratives and conspiracies. And I'm like, it's clearly a product of this system, and that's what they said in the very first report. And so there will be changes 100%. And then that was the other thing. The Hall of Fame did not make a statement about Belichick. Everybody was like, "Oh, they said they're gonna look at the system and they're gonna fire people." They said we look at the voting process every year, meaning that we're gonna look at it because we always look at it. And they said if a voter ever is violating the standards, then we discipline and remove them. That's not new. That's just what they do every year. They just said it, and it was a smart PR, but everybody ran with, oh, now they're looking at it. No, they said they look at it every year. Like, again, national TV, can't read. It's crazy. You getting up there with misinformation. It don't make no sense to me. So I want to talk about that. So that's it for me. Go down comment section. Let me know what you think. Share it around. Get the convo started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you for listening.